Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with progesterone medication. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to follow along and please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. I'm currently 25 weeks pregnant. I'm 32 years old and I was on progesterone for the first part of my pregnancy. In the past, I've had 3 miscarriages, so I've been on my trying to conceive journey for almost 2 years now, and during those 2 years I did unfortunately have 3 miscarriages. I did lose each pregnancy at a different stage, the first one being the one that went on for the longest stage, which was definitely the most hardest because I had to have a procedure to have that removed, and it just really wasn't a lot of fun at all. And it really was damaging to my mental health. I'm so happy that currently I am 25 weeks pregnant and I seem to be having a successful and healthy pregnancy. I just want to say just a little note to say I'm just sharing my personal experience with using this medication. I'm sharing my personal experience of pregnancy, of miscarriage. I'm not saying that everyone needs to go out and be put on medication in order to have a healthy pregnancy. I'm not saying either that I'm some sort of medical expert and that I understand everything that I am saying or that I have been told by the NHS. So just a little disclaimer, please don't take my advice as medical advice because it is not. So in the UK, you're offered progesterone typically after you've experienced 3 miscarriages or more. I didn't have to ask for it. It was something that definitely was offered to me. I don't know if they definitely offer it each time, but yeah, after my 3rd miscarriage, I was definitely offered it. They said to me, the next time you get pregnant, make sure that you contact us at the early pregnancy unit and we will prescribe you that medication and we'll also want to scan you as well. So that is what happened to me. I had to go and pick up the medication from the hospital and this is what it looks like. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show you this on it. I'm going to check. This is what it looks like. I'm not on progesterone anymore. I was only on it until, so from the moment I found out I was pregnant until 16 weeks of pregnancy, and then I was able to stop. So this is the medication. And I also want to show you what they look like as well, because it's not just a tablet that you take through the mouth, it is a suppository. So yeah, let me show you what they kind of look like. So they look like this, and I'm going to open one actually because I don't need them anymore. So I'll just open this for you. This like peels apart and then you get like this waxy little thing that yes, you're supposed to either put in the front or the back, but they mainly say put it in the front. Sorry to be crude, but that's how you use it. I'm just gonna go wash my hands. I took progesterone 2 times a day and I was told to take it morning and night. You're also told that after you insert it, you are supposed to lay down for 30 minutes or so that it can be fully absorbed. So I took that twice a day up until I was 16 weeks. And now we all know that when you find out you're pregnant, technically you're already 4 weeks pregnant. So up to 16 weeks, I had to take the medication for 12 weeks. So I was taking it for 3 months total, twice a day, every day. And it was not fun for me. I'm going to talk about my experience openly, but just be mindful that my experience isn't the same as everyone else's. It probably won't be the same as your experience, but I think if listening to my experience will make you feel any better about what you're going through or what you feel anxious about, then it's a good thing that I'm sharing it. So first things first, when I picked up the medication, I said to the lovely lady at the chemist, is this going to turn me into a monster? So I'd read all of the horror stories online about like how your mood can change, how it can make you so grumpy, and things like that, because at the end of the day you are putting like an extra hormone into your body, and at that point I didn't know if my body necessarily needed those extra hormones, because I hadn't had blood testing for anything to see if I was low on the progesterone or anything. Yeah, so I basically said to her, is this going to turn me into a monster? And she looked me dead in the eye and she was like, no, it's not going to make you feel any different at all. No different at all. I said, okay, that's great. So I went home and then I took the first one, and then, you know, a couple of days went by and I indeed felt like a monster. I think it was when I was at work one day and I was dealing with a customer complaint, and I just felt this overwhelming rage. It was awful. And then afterwards, I just went and I hid in an office and I cried for about an hour because I just couldn't understand what was going on with my body. Yeah, so I experienced a lot of different symptoms with the medication, which I've spoken to a lot of other different people about it actually on TikTok. So I brought it up on there and they said that they didn't feel any different. Other people said they had similar experiences to me and they were like, it completely changed my life for 3 months. Yeah, and it did completely change my life for 3 months. I struggled to go to work, not just in terms of mood. It made me feel so... I've wrote down my symptoms actually. Let me have a read and then tell you. It basically amplified every pregnancy symptom that you're feeling in the first trimester. So the sickness, it made me feel so much more sick than I'd ever felt with any other pregnancy. It made me feel so much more tired, fatigued. The bloat, oh my god, the bloat. The bloat was insane. When you're first pregnant, you get pregnancy bloat anyway, which can be mistaken for a baby bump, but my bloat was so bad. I was completely bloated in my face, I was bloated in my feet, my hands, I was bloated everywhere, and it was just awful. I struggled to find clothes to wear. I just felt so bad about myself. And at that point, like, no one knew I was pregnant, so no one at work knew I was pregnant. I think everyone just thought I'd put on a lot of weight basically. But yeah, and then the hunger and the weight gain. Progesterone makes you so hungry. I know that you're hungry like naturally during pregnancy, but in the first trimester you're mainly feeling sick. You don't really have like cravings and things like that. But I was starving. I was starving every day and I was eating constantly. I was constantly eating and I put on so much weight. I think I put on 1.5 stone in my first trimester, and people usually put on like 3 or 4 pounds. But yeah, it was 1.5 stone. And since I haven't been on the medication, that has definitely calmed down and I'm eating more like a normal person with, like, I guess like an extra snack a day that I wouldn't have had before when I wasn't pregnant, because that's really just the normal amount of extra food that you need. But yeah, it made me super hungry, and I really struggled at work to just control my temper and not be emotional and want to hide away and cry all of the time. Like, I would get up in the mornings and I would just start crying because that's how badly I didn't want to go to work. And it's not that I work in a horrible place or anything. I deal with customer service and customer complaints, but I don't go to work and feel unsafe at work, or, you know, not get on with people, or like a victim of workplace bullying or anything. I honestly genuinely love my job, and I just didn't want to go to work, leave the house, or do anything. I honestly just wanted to stay in bed all day, like a proper it was like I had this proper wall of depression. It was horrible. But not saying that that is going to happen to you. Please don't take this as gospel, because it's not going to happen to you. But that is honestly how I felt. At the same time, I was quite anxious that I was worried that I was actually extending the problem, because you know, you get all of these kinds of thoughts, like, because I've had the miscarriages before, I was thinking are me and my partner just not a good mix? Like, do our chromosomes just not mix together well? Is that why the pregnancies aren't working? Is it something to do with our bloods? Is it, you know, something that's hereditary that we don't know about, and that's why they're not working out? So with me taking the progesterone and prolonging the pregnancy, does that mean that I'm prolonging a pregnancy that is actually wrong, and then in the end it's going to come out that there's something terribly wrong? So I was thinking all of these horrible things. But since then I've had a lot of scans. So when I was on the progesterone at first, they scanned me at 6 weeks, they scanned me at 8 weeks, they scanned me at 10 weeks, and then after that I had my 12-week scan, and I've also had my 20-week scan since that, and everything has been absolutely fine, which I just feel so happy and blessed with. Yeah, everything seems healthy and fine. What I will say though, you do need some tips for if you're going to use this medication, because nobody told me that I would need to buy so much new underwear, or, you know, if I'd invested in some panty liners, then everything would have been a lot better for me. But yeah, and also drinking a lot of water, because it makes you really thirsty too. And there was obviously like so many positive moments through that. Like when we went for our 6-week scan, we were so surprised that we actually saw the heartbeat on the screen when like the pregnancy was so little and small. Like it literally just looked like a grain of rice, but then in the middle of it there was something flashing, like a little heart flashing, and they picked that up on the screen. Like, I just think that's amazing that they can see all of that. We'd never seen a heartbeat on the screen before, so that was just really special for us. After I stopped the progesterone, I definitely had a few days where I then felt like I was going through a complete mood change again. So not only am I pregnant and I have all these pregnancy hormones buzzing around anyway, putting me in a different mood, now it was that the progesterone was leaving my body. My body had got used to having it all the time, and it was suddenly cut out and gone. So again, I asked my midwife, am I going to feel any different when I come off of the progesterone? What's going to happen? Because it's really made me feel kind of rubbish. And she said, no, I don't think you're going to notice any difference. And I did. I noticed a big difference. Like the hormones completely flushed away in a good way, but also like I think my brain just went, oh my God, what's going on now? Because it just must be so confusing for all your brain chemicals and hormones and things. But I think it took a week. It took a good week for it to flush out and me to start feeling like I was getting back to normal. When I felt completely back to normal, I think that was after 2 or 3 weeks maybe. Yeah, so I'm saying that in a way of I feel pregnancy normal. Obviously I still have those pregnancy hormones, but yeah, that's when I think the progesterone completely left my soul, which was a very good thing for everyone. And the bloat went down. The bloat went down. I was so bloated. I was like a blow-up doll. And the bloat went down. I didn't look as fat. I actually was starting to look pregnant. My face slimmed down again. It was great. So just a little bit of reflection. I think it's important to say that obviously, like, the NHS can't do any tests to see if the progesterone definitely helped with my pregnancy, but I think that it must have done something. But at the same time, I don't know, because there's no way of knowing if the progesterone is the reason why I have successfully, you know, had a pregnancy now that has got this far. As I said, there's no tests that they do. There's no trials that they do, as far as I know. Unless someone's found one, please let me know, because I'd like to see it. It'd be very interesting. But taking the medication did make me feel supported, although it made me feel worried that there was something that I was extending, you know, another problem. It did make me feel supported at the same time, like a little safety net. And I'm glad that I took it. But the main thing for me is that it just really did not feel natural, and I didn't feel like I was having a natural pregnancy experience until that progesterone was completely out of my body, and I guess until about 20 weeks pregnant, so 5 weeks ago, that I actually felt like I was doing this and it was going really well. And it just has felt like a completely natural experience now, which is really nice. What I'd wish I'd known before I started, so the main thing being, I wish that the chemist and my midwife hadn't said to me, you're not going to feel any different both times, when I was going on and then coming off the medication, because I felt so different. I can't say it enough times. I felt like an alien. And just be prepared for that. If you're going to go on this medication, just be prepared. And also, just because they are offering it to you doesn't mean that you have to take it, because you still might be able to have a positive pregnancy experience on your own without the help of progesterone. The NHS does say that it's completely normal to have 3 or more miscarriages before you have a successful pregnancy, which I think is pretty unbelievable. But they say, and they said to me during my experience, this is all completely normal. The hardest part of my experience was probably watching my partner watch me go through all of that. Me and my partner, we're very in tune with each other, and we are just the bestest of friends, and we do worry about the other person if they're ever going through anything. And he was completely invested in my recovery during that time, and so worried about me. I was worried about him being worried about me, because I also want him to enjoy the experience, because I know that he's been through so much with the miscarriages as well. And I know that, not that I know that, I feel that a lot of people do forget about the man in the relationship, and that it does genuinely deeply hurt them. And it's okay for them to feel supported and for you to support them, because it isn't just about us women. Even though we experience the physical side of things, you know, and I've had to take the medication and then I'm growing the baby, it doesn't mean that he hasn't felt the things that I've felt too. And in support of that, I just want to stress the importance of following along with what your doctor says. There were so many times when I was on the progesterone medication that I just wanted to give up and stop taking it. I even phoned them a few times and I said, and I was in tears, and I said, this is making me feel so bad, please can I stop? And they said, we don't advise that you stop. You can stop if you want to, but we really don't advise that you do stop, because it could be helping your pregnancy. I did a few things to try and help me cope emotionally with the big change that I was going through. So I prioritised my rest, because the medication made me very tired. I had a few days off of work sick because of it, because I just couldn't face being in work. I also felt so, this is TMI, but I felt so constipated that one day I could not actually go to work. I was in tears. Yeah, so I really prioritised my health first during that time, and my rest as well. I'm still working full time. I'm just taking every day as it comes. I'm really trying my best to enjoy this experience, and yeah, I just wish the best to all of you, and I hope that soon you all get your miracle. I know that I've finally got mine, and I'm so happy. We are so happy, and I want nothing more than for everyone else to feel this way, because it really is so special. So just keep going. Don't give up on your TTC journey. Also, the main thing that happened to me is that I completely tried my best to relax about everything, you know, rather than thinking this is never going to happen for me. Because at the time when I had my 3rd miscarriage at work, there was actually 4 other people at work that were pregnant. So I was going to work every day, and it would be one after the other. So-and-so's pregnant. Oh, so-and-so's pregnant now. And they're having a girl, and they're having a boy. And it was just, oh my god, it was just the worst thing ever. Although, like, I was happy for them and obviously congratulated on them on their pregnancy and things like that, it didn't come from like any sort of jealousy or anything. It just makes you feel like a certain kind of sadness. But yeah, that was a very difficult time, and I know what it feels like to want something that everyone else seems to, from the outside it looks like it's happening so easily for them, but in reality you never know what someone's going through, or you know, the journey that they've had to go on in order to get where they are. If you like my video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment down below. I want to know about your experience, and let me know as well if there's anything else that you want to see. I'm really enjoying making these videos actually. I really like them. I like talking about my story. I think it makes me feel a bit better as well. But yeah, thanks for watching.